see what we got. I guess we clocked in. Hey, what's going on, party people? Hopefully, you guys should be able to hear me. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. And essentially, what I do as a spiritual healer is that I help people to attain their highest level of consciousness. And what that means pretty much, it's it's you becoming Christ-like, or it's you becoming Buddha-like or Krishna-like. Just so you guys understand, like when you look at Jesus, you look at Buddha, right? Who became, well, he was actually Siddhartha, who became Buddha, and then Jesus, who became the Christ. You know, when you're looking at their stories, right? You could tell, you could see and understand, their starting point, their journey pretty much, and how they were able to ascend. And their ascension is what makes them become whoever the fuck they became. And that symbolizes pretty much, your level of achievement or your level of realization. And that's how Siddhartha became the Buddha and Jesus became the Christ. And Krishna and whoever else, whatever else, or Horus. I mean, it's all the same energy. And what that means pretty much, once you become or became that, it's attaining your highest level of consciousness. So I help you to attain your highest level of consciousness, i.e., so that you could be Christ-like, Buddha-like. That's what I do. Now, how do I do it? Well, I help you, let's just say, to have a better understanding of who you are by helping you to become mentally and emotionally balanced. Because only when those two are balanced, now that you have the mental clarity for you to actually make the best decision, or not even making any type of decisions, but to be on a level of being or attaining that highest level of consciousness. That's a mental clarity. That's the highest, I mean, for you to see the big picture, so to speak, you would have to be able to become mentally and emotionally balanced. And the reason being is, well, let's just say, when you go like such and such as being too emotional. So therefore, what you're also saying is because that person is not being emotionally balanced. So therefore, we all acknowledge, there's your clarity is at too. It's not up to par, and vice versa too. Now, if you too mental, you straight up logical, A plus B equal, what I'm saying? That's how you see things from a linear perspective, from a reasoning perspective only. I mean, you're not going to see the bigger picture neither. Because now you became very rigid, very robotic. You know what I'm saying? You stepping on other people's toes. I mean, you now, I mean, it's good. You may have logic, but you don't, you fail to see the smallest things around you. And that's what emotion does to you. Emotions, and that's why it's important for you to become mentally and emotionally balanced, because your emotions with your clarity allows you to have a better perspective. And that perspective, I mean, it's also now becomes a reflection of you. It's you knowing you and you attaining your highest level of consciousness. So that's why those two have to become in alignment. So pretty much it's the whole idea of mind, body, and soul. So now that you understand how I do it now, so let's talk a little bit about what do I mean by being emotionally balanced, right? So for most people, they think, being emotionally balanced is pretending certain things, right? You wouldn't raise your voice, or you would sound like you fucking unhappy, or or you, oh, are you? angry? Is that anger? Like people try to use that like shit. Yeah, I'll let you know when I'm angry, motherfucker. Again, there's no. I mean, it's just a matter of being triggered. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, if you're saying angered, right? We're talking about here. For the most part, when people are being triggered. You know what I'm saying? And there's a difference between becoming emotionally balanced and choosing to act a certain way. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you a perfect example, right? Like a boxer. I mean, they have to be emotionally in control, like even of the whole fight, not to be too excited and gas out. I mean that all of it. You know what I'm saying? It's a combination of everything. And that's what dancing is too. But anyway, I don't even know why I had to go there, but I mean, I guess I was thinking about the whole dance, and that's pretty much what we're doing by becoming in harmony with nature. And the thing about dancing that me personally that I really enjoy is that what I'm saying it's a two-way thing. Like it's you being in your not even necessarily a two-way thing, but it's just you being in what I'm saying, like when you're truly dancing, like doesn't matter if people are looking at you. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like it's you in your character. It's you enjoying all of it, experiencing. I mean, the experience is just insane. Do you see what I'm saying? But anyway, now let's go back to being emotionally balanced, right? So to be emotionally balanced, what I'm really talking about is for you to understand your own emotions. You to understand what if you feel in a certain way, you understand what that means, and you understand why you react or you may have been feeling a certain way. So it's to understand the energy and to understand what the energy is telling you, because there's always messages in energies, right? I mean, so much so if you were to touch, let's just say, something hot, you know what I'm saying, there's a message right there. You know what I'm saying? It's like nobody has to translate it for you. You automatically got the message. So that you have to be in that sort of connection with your emotions, so you understand the emotional messages. Then you have to understand your emotional pattern. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, ultimately, you being in control of that is you taking over your pattern. It's you be creating your own emotional pattern. But for the sake of what we're talking about, for you to understand, what it's like to be emotionally balanced. I mean, shit. I mean, it's ultimately. I mean, it's you creating your own fucking emotional like pattern. And if there's any blockages, now you have the ability to actually either transmute, reject. You know what I'm saying? Without suppressing. Because what a lot of people do by pretending, they claim to be emotionally balanced, but that's not true. Do you see what I'm saying? All somebody got to do is to touch the right button. Whereas when you become emotionally balanced, you have no button. Now it's when you choose to do it. You're not being triggered. You're not just reacting. So yeah. So in addition to that, you also have to understand, or to become mentally balanced. And by being mentally balanced, what you're technically doing pretty much, it's understanding how your mind works. But also to understand how is your mind being influenced by external, like when you go to school, is there a certain way school is teaching you to think? How does going to school would impact you? You know what I'm saying? Or how would it? That's why it's part of the work is for you to understand your culture. These are all different things that pretty much shape how you think. So you have to be aware of these things, but most importantly, for also you understanding their effect on you. Because as part of you now to be in charge of your mental, you would have to be aware of all these things and being mentally balanced and increasing your self consciousness as well. I mean, this is all part of it. So that's what that is. It's understand your culture, understand your immediate, let's just say, circle. Is to be aware of what's around you. In fact, the more aware you are of what's around you, the more conscious you are becoming. Not just from an outside perspective, but mainly from an internal perspective. And as you do so, because if you don't do it from that perspective, you won't be able to see what's in front of you. You have the knowledge, I mean, God, I mean, but anyway, that's what I'm going to be talking. Well, not necessarily. Well, I'll be touching on that too. So, you know, um, but anyway, making a long story short, guys, as a spiritual healer, I help you to attain your highest level of consciousness. I do that pretty much by helping you to become mentally and emotionally balanced. And that's pretty much it. Now, it may sound simple, but there's a whole lot in here. There's a whole lot in here. Because ultimately, we're talking about you knowing who you are. So you can imagine the shadow work, the internal, and that's what you being whole is, being perfect, just like God is perfect. What that is referring to is being in harmony with yourself. That's where the higher self and the lower self come together. Your masculinity and your femininity comes together. It makes you holistic, not from, your perfection, and that's your aim. And the whole idea of you or us encouraging you to be as perfect as your father is. That's what that meant. As life in itself, it's in harmony. Good and bad, they all dance together. That's why polarity, when you understand the mental aspect of the universe, as the Kabbalion says, man, you are well on your way. You, I'm at you there. You ain't gotta move. You're there. I mean, you could just move slowly. Oh, well, we all gotta keep going forward. So I mean, I'm not gonna stop you, and everything vibrates any fucking way.